Good evening, viewers. Night and I here. It's that time of year again, and to start off the October festivities, I'm going to be rating Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters on a scale of 1 to 10. Their ratings will be based on the design rather than what abilities the monsters have in the card game, so let's begin. The Curry Box. To a child, nothing is more terrifying than when that clown pops up while playing with a Jack-in-the-Box. When you think about it, it was most likely our very first jump scare. Hell, just imagine how much more traumatizing it would have been had the normally innocent little clown had a jagged beaky mouth full of sharp teeth and swung around a scythe while doing the classic Bwahahaha laugh. 7 out of 10. 7 colored fish. One of the monsters that caught my eye due to how really odd its design is. Aside from the lack of lateral fins, it's got freaking tusks. I'd say what those lips do, but this ain't Smash or Pass video. Nor would I put my worm anywhere near a regular fish. 7 out of 10. Oh great, now you weirdos are gonna want Yu-Gi-Oh! Smash or Pass, aren't you? This frog. I've loved frogs ever since I was a kid, and this big boy reminds me of a toadstool from Amphibia. 1 out of 10. Togex. I immediately took to this monster because it looked like a big bulky lizard with spikes. Only now have I realized that his original Japanese name was Blastoman, which kinda makes me think he'd be a good bestial Mega Man character. And only just now noticed that he's got sort of a Holstein cow thing going on with his tail. That's normally hidden by the borders of the card. I still give it a 9 out of 10. Dice Armadillo. This looks absolutely nothing like an armadillo, and yet I don't care. I used him all the time when I played the Eternal Duelist. 10 out of 10. Stone Armadillo. Okay, this looks even less like an armadillo than Dice Armadillo. However, I'd be lying if I said the result of a Sand Slash and a lizard didn't intrigue me. 9 out of 10. Thunder Kid. This thing. I find absolutely adorable, and I have no clue why. I mean, look at it. It's a yellow gremlin with big, gross red lips. And yet I find it as endearing as I find Yellow Ojama offensive to my eyes for the exact same reason. 10 out of 10. Ojamanite. Speaking of Yellow Ojama, Ojamanite is like if the nasty little freak hid his hideousness behind a suit of armor. It's fun to imagine this tiny little paladin floating around. 6 out of 10. Frog the Jam. Reminds me of the Barking Toads from If the Emperor had a text-to-speech device. 6 out of 10. Beaver Warrior. Luis here looks like she came straight out of a vermin horde from the Redwall franchise. 4 out of 10. Jerry Beansman. Perfect companion to spend National Bean Day with. 9 out of 10. Time Wizard. For all the seriously detailed monsters in the first generation of the card game. And love that we got this little cartoon clock with eyes and hands. 10 out of 10. Tasmanian Devil. That's just a Tasmanian Devil. 0 out of 10. Foxfire. So I assume people expect me to gush over foxes being represented in Yu-Gi-Oh! And given an exaggerated rating. I can't really. Yeah, cute design, but Foxfire is just a little fox with a flame on its tail. 5 out of 10. TG Warwolf. Whoever took a wolf and turned it into an anthropomorphic cyborg intending for it to be a killing machine is the kind of person that makes me want to sleep with one eye open. 6 out of 10. Water Dragon. A dragon that's a living torrent of water? What's not to love about that? 10 out of 10. Guardian of the Throne Room. I like to think that this clunky little robot just farts around Egyptian tombs all day, looking for people to fire its napalm bombs at. 9 out of 10. Pendulum Machine. It's a monster robot with a pendulum blade. I don't think I have to go into any specific detail here. 9 out of 10. Millennium Shield. If this was the Pokemon fandom, people would decry this monster as, it's just a shield with an eye. They know that it has 3,000 defense points. That makes it a great card to have in any deck. 10 out of 10. Nightmare Penguin. You can't convince me that this wasn't inspired by a Batman villain. 10 out of 10. Reptilian Servant. That's more terrifying than a man-sized cobra. Man-sized cobra with bony arms and hands. 10 out of 10. Blowback Dragon. With all the censorship Konami does to these cards, it's a wonder we got the card that's a literal gun dragon at all. 10 out of 10. Hungry Burger. In Soviet Russia, burger eat you. 2 out of 10. Malice Doll of Demise. As terrifying as the image of a dummy with an axe might be, and you remember just how little strength a dummy actually has, it takes away a lot of the terror. You could take the axe away and just punt this little punk into the fireplace. 5 out of 10. Yato Karu. All I have to say is I'd like hermit crab monsters. 10 out of 10. Spirit of the Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed is a card I used all the time before it got banned, but after seeing the little spirit that lives inside of it, I'd put this piece of pottery up in the attic and avoid ever going up there. 2 out of 10. Only tank T34. If only I actually had a tank with a Noni face on it, I could die happy. Of course that calls into question how it would actually function. 10 out of 10. Humanoid Worm Drake. The second hardest monster I've seen while watching the anime. I wonder if that scythe arm can actually cut anything. 10 out of 10. Karibo. Never would I have assumed this little floating ball of fur would be this franchise's Pikachu. 4 out of 10. Sangan. I've heard a YouTuber say that Sangan is the counterpart to Karibo, and I really can't get behind that, since they're both darkness attribute monsters. Either way, this little Triclops is an adorably creepy critter, and I've usually had 1 or 2 in decks I've played. 4 out of 10. Blackwing Elfin the Raven. When I first saw this winged beast monster, I expected it to cry out 10 out of 10. Dark Magician. Can't believe it's taken me this long to get to the franchise's most recognizable monster. The original design of a regular dude dressed up in a purple costume is most iconic, but the DM with cyan skin and indigo outfit, he does give me the impression that this guy's been consumed by dark magic. 10 out of 10. Dark Magician Girl. Every preteen boy's first waifu. At least one of them. 9 out of 10. Third gnarliest monster I've ever seen, and the second ritual monster on this list. For the most part, Crab Turtle's design is fine, but then you notice it's got 4 crab legs sticking out of its back. Why? What purpose do they serve back there? I honestly feel that this is a case of a creature being overdesigned. Oh well, still cool. 10 out of 10. Catapult Turtle. Who wouldn't love a giant robotic turtle with a catapult on its back? 8 out of 10. Pyramid Turtle. Egyptian themed monsters don't get much sillier than this. 3 out of 10. I'm about to say something completely controversial and I don't care what the blowback is. Mechanical Snail doesn't look like a snail at all. I mean, when was the last time you saw a snail that had a bitey mouth like that? Weird fleshy robo feet and knives for hands. It looks like it's trying to cosplay Scyther more than anything. 3 out of 10. Dark Lord Marie. Okay, I knew that this was some sort of fallen angel. Nothing that spoopy, but yeah. You see her face there? I originally thought that was just a mask. Nope, that's her face. I consider myself effectively unnerved. 9 out of 10. Blue Eyes White Dragon. Strongest monster in the game. For a vanilla monster when the game first came out anyway. I've heard this big blue beastie compared to Charizard, and I'd say that makes sense, considering how overpowered it was when the game first came out, and all the clones and variants we have now. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I just happen to love how sleek this dragon looks. Red Eyes Black Dragon. The edgy counterpart to Blue Eyes. I don't care if people call me an edgelord for this. Red Eyes is and always has been one of the most awesome looking dragons in the game. 10 out of 10. Prime Mineral Mant Strong. A man drilled with rock qualities? Yes, please. 10 out of 10. Pumpkin. The king of ghosts. Would it really be Halloween without pumpkins? The vine tentacles, the tiny staring eye, the giant gaping mouth. This is everything a pumpkin monster should be. 10 out of 10. And while we're on the subject of spooky things, skeletons. Namely, King of the Skull Servants. Now, animate skeletons are creepy enough, but why this one in particular? Well, it seems to have some necro magic around it, so that's cool. 7 out of 10. The Secret's Portrait. I'm not an art guy, but I know what I like. And I don't like things going out of portraits to come get me. 6 out of 10. Cat of Ill Omen. I played this card all the time when I was at school. If that was a real cat, I'd be pretty uneasy to have it around my house. 2 out of 10. The Mystical Beast of Circuit. I'm looking at this design and all I can think is, what the heck am I looking at? Card says this is a fairy monster, but it looks way more like an alien scorpion to me. I mean, seriously, this is the type of thing you see when you're on a bad drug trip. And I love it. 10 out of 10. Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat. First saw this Pink Panther in the GX anime. It ran with the idea that all the monsters on the cards were actually living creatures that were summoned to our plane of existence during a card game. He was voiced by Veronica Taylor, and for whatever reason, my dumb little brain assumed every line out of her mouth had some sort of sexual undertone. And before you start with the furry comments, this was back before I even knew what furries were. 7 out of 10. Rescue cat, rescue rabbit, rescue parrot, and rescue hamster. The most adorable rescue team ever. 10 out of 10. Dizzy Angel. So, which is better? Letting kids know that alcohol exists and that people can get drunk? Or making kids think you can drink hot sauce? I like the jacket and action pants. The hat kind of throws off the whole smooth criminal thing the outfit's got going on. 5 out of 10. Batman Boxer Rabbit Puncher. I've been going over this design since I saw this creature, and all I can say it is absolutely hideous and not in a neat way. People seriously complain about sock and throw. This is just some boxer with rabbit feet? 2 out of 10. Spear Dragon. You know how they say you shouldn't stick your nose in other people's business? Yeah, well, Spear Dragon's an example of how you could put your eye out if you're not careful. 8 out of 10. Block Man. Aww, I wish regular Legos could fit together like this. 8 out of 10. Shining Friendship. Great things come in small packages. 3 out of 10. Parasite. Parasites are already terrifying enough, but what would you do if you went to the doctor, they put a medical camera inside you, and saw this nasty little alien looking thing chillaxing in your guts and staring back at you? I think I'd just avoid my bowels right there and then, hoping to get rid of it. 10 out of 10. Soggy the Dark Clown. He's a clown monster fueled by dark energy. I don't think I have to go into much more detail than that. 10 out of 10. Shadow Ghoul. I hate being in dark rooms, largely because my underdeveloped monkey brain keeps telling me that bugaboo's just lurking in the shadows, waiting to devour me. So imagine my reaction when this card game came out with a monster that does just that. If you said totally blown away about how awesomely creepy this multi-legged monstrosity is, you'd be right. All those legs and eyes. Some of them not even on some elongated head. Yes sir, if you would have simply come up to me and say the word monster, this is what I would picture. 10 out of 10. Garuda the Wind Spirit. I just want to try and replicate the Birdman cry whenever I look at this design. 10 out of 10. Relinquished. The gnarliest monster I saw while watching the anime. It's so beautifully alien. I know I said to be talking about the design rather than the abilities, but you can't talk about Relinquished without mentioning how it absorbs and assimilates any opposing monster. And it does it through its crotch mouth. Yeah, being stabbed and having my body fluids drained, or being engulfed by a giant mass of flesh would be pretty horrifying. If I was going to be absorbed, the last thing I'd ever want to see is a monster's possible junk. 10 out of 10. Summoned Skull. Or Skull Archfiend if you prefer. What could be more Halloween than a muscular demon with a skeleton on the outside? Well, maybe a scorpion made of candy. 10 out of 10. And then we have Toon Summoned Skull. One of the many disturbingly cheerful residents of Toon World. If you never thought anything done in the Robo Saga would be the least bit unsettling, Toon Summoned Skull is here to prove you wrong. 9 out of 10. Reaper of the Cards. Possible reference to Ghostface to the mask he wears aside, this monster just feels like a generic Grim Reaper archetype that can't really compete visually with the likes of Phantomon, Metal Phantomon, or even Dusk Noir. It is 0 out of 10. And thus we come to the end of another rating video. Two thoughts come to me when looking at all the audio files I have for this project. One, there are a lot of monsters I really want to talk about. And two, I must really hate myself considering how many audio files there are. This is going to be a nightmare to edit. This is Nighthead I saying thanks for letting me share my thoughts. Please share yours with me.